What up, y'all? We are kicking it today on a late episode of Spilling the Anxiety this Monday evening. I cannot promise you guys that my podcast will come out in the daytime anymore. So I guess it's kind of useless to release them this late in the day. But now I'm working full time. So I just started a job today at Kindercare. One of those centers for kids. Honestly, I'd never heard of it in New York because there's so many other options. But I guess like outside of New York, it's a pretty big deal. So I did start working today, and let me tell you guys, I am exhausted. I am bona fide exhausted today. I've spent the past 5 years elbow deep in diapers for my own kids, and today I just had a whole plethora of kids. And it was good to see because I guess I got to experience what other people are like with kids. I want to say I'm friendlier than most. There were other friendly people there, don't get me wrong. But I guess I just treated them the same way that I would treat my own kids, which isn't to say that daycare providers wouldn't treat your kid the way that, they would, but I got an insight into somebody who was slightly more tired and not with the shits than I am. And I just want to say my heart goes out to her because I know that it's exhausting. You spent all day with kids for your job, and then you come home to deal with kids of your own that are just about the same age range. It's exhausting. And I just want to say to all the mamas out there that are like that work with raising kids and with watching kids, because the reality of it is that I'm doing the job that I'm doing. The main writing reason for what I'm doing is because of the childcare benefit. It's going to save me so much money a month. So I don't know. I think that a lot of, and I was reading an article a long time ago about, speaking about how with these women from the Philippines, that they go out and they become nannies to, other people's children, and they send money back, back home to their own children. They spend their entire lives raising somebody else's children. And I feel like this is kind of what it is, but it is what, doing what you got to do is kind of like what I spoke about in the last episode. Obviously this isn't like prostitution or, or stripping or anything like that, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And it can be hard. So my heart went out to her because I just saw the exhaustion on her, and I felt bad. But she's doing a great job. So, keep it up, Mom. So I'm sorry. I didn't even explain what today's episode was going to be about or nothing about that. But that's honestly because now I don't really have a topic. I guess this is not really another stream of consciousness, but this is more so like, I just want to give my thoughts on things, and I don't have a set. It's hard, you guys. Doing this is fucking hard. Especially when, like right now, I couldn't lie to you and tell you that this is the thing that I'm the most excited about doing right now. I really wanted to skip today's episode because I had no idea I would be this tired at the end of it. But I promise to deliver, and deliver I will. So let's take a quick break, and when we come back, I'm going to find something fucking spectacular to talk about. Okay, because I have a few things floating around in my head, and I'm going to pick one. So stay tuned and enjoy the break. All right, y'all, and we're back. So I did find the topic that I wanted to talk about, and actually, it is directly related to something I heard at work today, or not heard, but something that I experienced at work today. Now, I am well aware that some of my colleagues at some point will eventually listen to this. And I would like to preface everything I'm about to say with, this is not, you didn't do anything wrong. You didn't say anything wrong. This is not shots at you. This is not any of that. This is just, I'm being real with how I feel about things. So I think I spoke about this episodes ago, but I found first off, I want to address the fact that a lot of people think I'm a huge bitch when they see me. I cannot say that I'm not. I am. But I'm also a lot nicer than most people would think I am. I just have this resting bitch face. Like I don't know what it is. I look hard. I look like I'm not fucking with nobody. But it's because it's a shield. You know, it's protection against the outside whatever. You know, I used to get as I got older, people used to tell me, you know, I used to have girlfriends that would say, "Oh, you know, this guy, he keeps texting me and no matter how many times I tell him no and all this other stuff." But I would either look at their conversations or hear what they were saying, and the way that they were carrying on didn't really read, "No, don't fuck with me." You know? It I don't know how to explain it appropriately, but there's something about my face and my approach that is very, you ain't got no shot here. And I feel like that's part of the reason why nobody really bothers me. And so in turn, I've gotten to this point where my face will convey like I'm not with the shits. I'm not trying to mess around with you. I'm not trying to do none of that. No, hey beautiful, how you're doing? None of that garbage. Please do not come over here with that. I am not some sucker duck who's gonna fall for that shit. If I tell you you don't text me, I don't want to hear from you for anything other than professional services. And that is, you know, like networking, like we can do something together to promote something. If you are trying to shoot your shot at all, please let that hope go right now, because that's not what I'm here for. And I do it all the time on Twitter. These morons who come through and they try to be like, "Oh, hey, you're pretty and I want to get to know you." First off, you haven't even heard anything about my podcast. You haven't checked out my profile. You ask me my name, even though my name is on the profile, which tells me that you're just a thirsty motherfucker who's trying to get in my pants. I'm not interested in letting you in my pants. I'm really, really not. Dudes don't hit me up on the "Oh, hey, what you doing?" and none of that bullshit. No, because I'm not in an uncertain place in my life right now. Romantically, I'm not. Meaning that doesn't mean that I have my entire romantic situation figured out. I don't. But what I do have is the knowledge that I don't want to talk to some greasy motherfucker. Even if you're the nicest dude ever, you very well could be. I'm not interested in giving you my time or my energy, because I don't care how different you think you are to everybody who came before you. You are not different. Okay? It's honest to God, it is not you, it is me. I don't want to fuck with you. I don't want to hear about your good intentions. I don't want to hear about how, "Oh, well, that dude you was with was a clown. I'm A1. I'll pay for all." Like, I don't want to hear any of that. I don't care. I'm not interested. I'm not going to give you the time of day and pretend that you have a shot. You don't. Which is why, you know, I feel like a lot of people think that in my hard exterior, they're surprised to find out that I'm pretty friendly. It's just the outside needs to know that I'm not vulnerable for you to fuck with. I'm not. You are not going to ask me about my day. You are not going to try to get me to put my guard down. You are not going to do any of that, because I am not interested in it. That's just how it is. So you know, somebody told me today that I look pretty harsh. And she's like, "Oh, but now that I'm talking to you, you seem pretty cool." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I mean, I don't want to say I'm the coolest cucumber in the patch, but I'm not I'm not mean. I don't turn people away. I have that exterior up because in my experience, when you're very inviting, for some reason people feel like it's okay to take pieces of you. And that's not okay. I don't know what makes people think that that's okay. It's almost like when you're inviting and you're friendly and hey and hey, can I do this for you and all that other stuff. People feel like, "Oh, she's nice. Let me see how far I can push this." And I don't want anybody taking pieces of me. Not unless I offer you a piece of me, if that makes sense. Because when I have this hard exterior, then that means that you're keeping yourself at bay, and I am too, and I'm choosing to open myself up to you to let you know, hey, listen, it's okay to be friendly with me. Because now you already know that I am capable of saying no, and I will say no. As opposed to when I'm just friendly from jump, people are like, hey, you don't mind doing this, right? You don't mind this. And they get real friendly with you, and people have assumptions of you. And then they're like, oh, okay, we can not even push those boundaries, just move right past them. So I don't know, maybe it's a bad habit, but I like keeping people at arm's length. Having an open revolving door feeds my anxiety. Because then I question what your intentions really are. Because I'm actually the nicest person you'll ever meet. And I'm the most giving person that I know. But once you know that, you take advantage of it. And people are like, well, Angel, not everybody is like that. Everybody I have met is. There is not one person. Lies. There are people in my life that haven't taken anything like that from me. But everybody that I have met in my life, there is a certain degree of, you wouldn't be here if I didn't open that level of vulnerability to you. Had I kept myself as cold as I normally present myself, we probably wouldn't have been friends. So, I mean, that's what I was told, and I feel like I just needed to clarify, because I'm really not a huge bitch, but a lot of people think I am. Also, I felt embarrassed today, which is, I spoke about this. I don't easily get embarrassed, but I realized today how people look at me when they hear that I am unmarried with 3 children from the same man. It was embarrassing. Because then the next logical question was, so I feel like this is how the conversation went. Somebody asked me if my children were all from the same man. Multiple people asked me today if my children were from the same man. And I said yes. But I wasn't married. No, I'm not. Y'all not together? No. Why? Now see, the way that happened was that I offered up, instead of lying about it, I offered up a piece of honest information about myself. Because honestly, there was no reason to lie about it. This is just my situation. But I felt vulnerable, and I felt almost so put on the spot that I couldn't lie. Not that I would have chosen to lie about it, but it was almost like, I guess they didn't mind asking why, because I was so honest with it. I could have said yes. I could have said anything else to save myself from having to give that explanation. But I was honest. So they decided to ask why. And again, I want to preface this to anybody for my job that listens to this. You are not at fault. You are not the problem. Really, it's just more of a point of embarrassment for me. But then it's like, how is somebody supposed to answer that question? That's raw information. How am I supposed to explain to you that the person that I have sacrificed my body for, to deliver unto them children, that we are not together? What if I tell you something like, I cheated, which I didn't, just so we're clear. What if I tell you something like he cheated? What if I tell you something like, we're from different cultures and we're not allowed to be married? I don't know. What if I tell you anything? Like, what is your response after that? There is no good response to that. There is no, well, we parted amicably and I don't know, I decided I'm a lesbian and I don't want to be with him. Like, there is no version to that doesn't leave space for more personal information. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand that. But it played on one of my biggest fears, because a lot of the reasons why I don't branch out more than I should is because I know that question is inevitable. Everybody wants to know. And increasingly less people give a fuck about how that question sounds when you ask. I didn't know what answer I was supposed to give, so I gave the honest one that I didn't know. That we were incompatible. I don't think we're incompatible. I think we get along together famously. The truth is, I don't know the answer. It's just not meant to be, I guess. But I don't believe that either, because I believe that we are meant to be. Damn, now I'm explaining myself for like the 4th time today, and I still don't have the honest answer. The honest answer is just that if it were up to me, we would be. And that's it. But I found myself embarrassed at that. And that was like, I was just like, oh man. Now I'm wearing the boo-boo the fool sign of I spent a bunch of time with somebody and gave up my life for them in different ways. And it still wasn't enough. And not being enough is one of my greatest anxiety causers on the daily. We're going to take a quick break here, and because this is going to be a short episode, we're going to take a quick break here, and then I'll explain that a little more when we come back from the break. Stay tuned. All right, and we are back. My greatest anxiety causer is not being enough. God, I didn't really think that this would be a dark episode, but here we go. Not being enough. Man, I am 27. I have served in the military. I have 3 beautiful children. I have owned property. I own shares in property currently. I have owned stock. I have my bachelor's degree. I have a crazy amount of experience professionally. I mean, I've always been the youngest person at the table, but always very smart. I own my own business. This is the first business that I've owned. And yet somehow I feel lacking. I feel lacking because although I have 3 beautiful children, I am not married. Now, that's not to say that marriage is not the bar by which I measure myself for when it comes to success. But it just ties into everybody has their own qualms, If you're past the age of 30 and don't have children, for some reason you're a failure. If you have children and you're not married, if you're not married and don't have children and not even in a committed relationship, if you haven't achieved a certain level of school by a certain age, everybody has that thing that they measure themselves up against. And I know that I'm capable of doing everything, but I'm at this junction in my life right now where I just thought I'd be further along. When I was 26, a couple of months ago, I sat there and I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a fucking millionaire by 30. I will be. And then in the span of a couple of months, my attitude shifted. It was like I could feel the maturity set in, and the gray hairs sprouted. And I noticed, why do I feel like I'm going to cry right now? Shit. I noticed when I looked at pictures of myself, I have crow's feet prickling at the corner of my eyes. I'm not happy with my weight whatsoever. I'm not happy. I'm not happy with my life at all. And everybody's like, well, you've gotten by farther than most people your age have. But see that there are younger people than me now amassing what I have or surpassing where I'm at in life. And everybody's like, well, march to the beat of your own drum and all this other stuff. It's so exhausting. At what point do you give up the goals that you had for yourself in life? This is not what I thought my life would look like at all. If 15 years ago, I would have looked at my life today, I would have been like, there's no way that I turn into that bitch. None. And I'm so scared because there's like, I'm reaching this. See, I work with babies. And today I found myself like in two weird spots. Like I had baby fever and then I had, I'm sorry, you guys. Okay. I had two weird moments where it was like, I had baby fever and then I was like, thank God I am so done with this part of my life. But then I was like, am I? I'm only 27. I'm so young. I can have more kids. I got my 3 kids out of the way young. I can have kids for another 10 years. And I had this conversation with my kid's dad as far as, because he's almost 10 years older than me. And I was like, aren't you all kidded out? Like, do you even want more kids? He knows that I want more kids because I've always wanted a big family. I don't actively want more children, but I've always wanted a big family. And 3 kids does not constitute a big family to me. And he's like, yeah, I'm getting up there in age, but you're not. And I want to feel as young as he makes me seem that I am, but I'm not. And every day there's like other stuff that's happening around me that is just like signifying how old I'm getting. And I'm just like, I'm not even that old. But now, a couple of months ago, being a millionaire by 30 made it seem like I had so much time because I was 26. I had 4 years to go. Now I'm 27 and it's just like, fuck. Dude, 30 is right there knocking. And then if I'm 30 and still in the same position, my credit right now is garbage. Okay, I want to stress that, garbage. 2 years ago, my credit score was near an 800 because I was on time with my bills. I was on point with everything. And then depression and anxiety and pandemic and fucking baby and all this other shit and postpartum depression got its hooks into me, and it has not let go. I am overweight. My skin isn't the best. Oh my fucking shit. I found myself, I've never had to do a skincare routine, which I know to a lot of people out there might be fucking crazy because people are like, you don't have to be old to do a skincare routine. You could just lotion up. You can do whatever. It wasn't something that was ingrained in me. It wasn't something that was embedded to me. It wasn't something that was taught to me. Nothing. Now, that's not to say that I didn't see my mom my mom always had like perfumes and colognes and she always had her hair and her nails done and she, put creams on her face and all that other stuff. When I say it wasn't taught to me and it wasn't ingrained to me, that means that I saw my mom do it, but it wasn't a by example kind of thing. See, I make sure that my kids lotion themselves when they get out the shower. I make sure there are a lot of things that I do for them that I remember my mom stopped doing for me very young. And not only that, not only stopped doing for me, but didn't stay on top of me to continue doing. Watching my mom do it wasn't enough. She didn't stay behind me as far as like, hey, do this, do that. And I get it. My mother was a single mother. And she had other things to worry about than, staying behind my ass to make sure that I cleaned behind my ears and lotioned up my ass crack every time I got out. But it was something that I've never really had to do. now, every time I'm about to step out the house, I moisturize up my face. I am disgusted with myself because I actively see pink stretch marks forming on my arms. And I don't know what it's going to take to get out of this funk. I was hoping that this would be it. I was hoping that there were a lot of things that I was hoping for, to be honest, but I don't know, man. It hit me I feel like I went off on a tangent on this. So I see those babies, and I'm like, oh my God, babies. But then the other side, I'm just like, oh my God, I really still have to do this all day. I feel like I'm too old for this shit now. Not that I'm too old to be dealing with kids, but it's just like, I'm dealing with my kids at home, and then I'm coming over here and dealing with other people's kids, babies that I really don't know. And they were great. They were great children. No holds barred. But I saw it taking a toll just on somebody else. And it's like that toll hit me harder. And I enjoy my job. I genuinely can't wait to go back tomorrow. I'm going to have to get a lot of sleep because now I'm taking care of babies around the clock. Taking care of my babies. Taking care of other people's babies. But I don't know. I just didn't see myself being here at 27. I didn't see the signs, and I feel like I got here because I was too hung up on puppies and rainbows and all the other happy shit. And that's why I'm embarrassed, because even though I can stand toe to toe with the greatest people, okay, I can sit there and say, yeah, well, I've got my degree too. Oh, really? You've owned a house? I've owned 2. I've owned 3. My old house had a pool. I've got 3 children that are not fucking savages. They have manners. I am well educated. I am multilingual. I am a veteran. I used to be a nurse. I'm an excellent writer. I have a fucking podcast. I have all these things. I am a damn good partner. I cook. I clean. I bake. My kids only eat healthy things. I am on top of my children, and I am there for them in the morning and in the afternoon when they get home. My kids practice extracurricular activities. I could sit here for 15 fucking minutes straight and tell you everything that's great about me. And yet when I look at myself in the mirror, the only thing that I see are the crow's feet. I see my gray hairs. I see the stretch marks coming to fruition. I see the fucking empty womb hanging over my belt line as just physical fucking evidence that I've had children and didn't tighten back up. I see no tan line on my left finger. I see bags under my eyes from how many times I fucking cried that my life wasn't enough, that I wasn't happy. And so it didn't matter what I've done with my life, how much I've done with my life. The only thing people are going to see when they see me and hear that I have 3 kids and they see that I'm so mature and all that other stuff, why didn't you get married? I don't get it. You set the stage up. You had all your kids with one person. It seems like you guys had a long enough relationship to stay committed. So what happened? And I'm always going to feel like a joke. And it's not just that. It's not just that. I have a divorce under my belt. And it was a total mistake. Never should have gotten married to begin with. And I hate it even more now because I did the thing that I shouldn't have done, which was check up on my ex. when I felt like my life wasn't working out, because I wanted to know that his life was just as shitty. I didn't want to know that the person who, he wasn't a great person. I mean, maybe on his own he was, but he wasn't a good partner, in my opinion. He had flaws just as much as me. He's happy with the person that he was cheating on me with. I got divorced 6 years ago. Yeah, 6 years ago. And he is happy with the person that he cheated on me with, and the person that I started my life with after that. I mean, we've got 3 kids. And I guess most optimistic people would look at that and be like, well, you gotta just enjoy the fact that you've had 3 kids, and maybe you're too young to feel like your life is over, and all this other jazz. And it's just like, who are you to tell me that as I get older, I will feel more content with letting go of the dream that I had for myself? You know how ridiculous you fucking sound telling me that the expectation that I had for my life, me wanting to be married, me wanting to be with this person that that I still love, that I would be okay with letting that go so I can maybe have a half-assed attempt at something else that isn't going to erase everything that's had so far. It's not like my children are going to disappear. That person is not going to disappear. I'm just supposed to be content with being with somebody else and settling for the fact that my life didn't work out. It's corny. It really is. And it's embarrassing. But here I am, right? Hoping that this podcast blows up, that somebody sees that I have radio host potential, and that I make it. So I hope everybody listening to this makes it too. And I hope that you guys forgive me for my pessimistic views. But it's not easy. And I implore you that the next time that you hear that somebody maybe doesn't have the picture perfect life that TV depicts it to be, maybe think twice before asking them why their life is such a shithole, because it doesn't seem like that's what you're asking, but it is. And I want to end this episode by saying thank you to my coworkers for giving me a fantastic topic for tonight's episode. Everybody stay tuned. I will be posting equally as late on Wednesday. Take care. See y'all then.